Good morning. How's everybody doing? Well, yesterday looked like bears were ready to rip the heads off of the bulls. They kind of blinked near the end of the day, and we ended up with a seesaw kind of a day. Kind of weird, wild, I guess, range expansion day outside both ends of the prior inside day. And so that kind of left us kind of neutral. But I mentioned in the green room yesterday, it was like, we look at these candlesticks and we say, oh, we see a topping tail. It's got to go down. Well, yes and no. Yes, the topping tail clearly says that buyers lost control, but you always have to put that in the context of a trend. Now, at the moment, looking at these futures charts, we've got a downtrend, which is to the point where it's somewhat in question as to its possibility or probability of rolling over. We're going to see how today ends. So far, as you could see, the last bar is just peekabooing over the high of yesterday's range. And this could certainly turn into a topping tail bar, and that would then, in fact, give additional confirmation to yesterday's selling, which news-driven, whatever happened, buyers came back at the end of the day and left it neutral. But, these tails aside, what I had mentioned was, sometimes it's good to visually, look at the chart and say, what does this look like on a closing basis? And, when you do that, and my point yesterday was like, look, whatever happened, yes, this went down. I'm connecting the dots here, and to yesterday's wiggles really ended up going nowhere in the end, because on a closing basis, we're just in this little tiny range. And so overnight, we've got, futures going up. They've just barely taken out that high, and they're backing off here a bit. So the question is, can they get up here to the top of the range? Well, we'll see by the end of the day where this ends up. If it ends up green, and it's a relatively wide range. I mean, here's a wider range, but overall, as we look at these different bars, except for the initial move down, let's call these the normal. This probably doesn't get much bigger, so I would expect 3,400 to be pretty stiff resistance. Should it continue to move up? So just keep that in mind. It's not far away. And so at the end of the day, we'll see what that looks like, whether it's green or a tail or red or whatever, and give us a better perspective as to where this is going. Now, the NASDAQ, a bit different. It's already up to the top of the range. So it led the way up, and it started leading the way down. And then we got this little W bottom down here. And so this morning it's up here, which leads me to think that, well, some sellers are going to show up here. Now, there's a giant void above. Anything's possible, but I don't think it's going up there by itself, and we'll look at the Russell, but, the spiders are going to hit some resistance pretty soon. While this had a resting period here, which is good, kind of supports the possibility of this being able to get through here, you still got an area where sellers showed up aggressively, but that was after the initial move down. So we've had a very nice recovery, which leads to a trading range, not necessarily back up to the top. And we'll see where this ends. I'm still not, giving up the idea, giving up, not the right word, but, to say the possibility is no longer there for this to reverse and turn into a measured move lower. Markets love to shake us and make us doubt, probabilities even after a big drop like this. But our analysis forces us to be objective. Right? That's the way I designed MTS. One of the things I say is that, look, if you're getting caught in some nasty moves that go against you, it's not the method, it's you. Because everything is designed on a piece by piece basis to put what's happening in your face. So when you put your money on the line and it's leveraged, it's kind of easy to kid yourself about what's going on. But if you apply what we teach objectively, it's pretty hard to do. Not you can't get hurt real bad unless your money management is just god awful and you're swinging for the fences. So we'll see where today ends. If this turns into a topping tail, at the top of the range, it would make perfect sense, and to suggest lower. We'll see where the day ends, of course. YM been lagging, but kind of looks like S&P, kind of. It's stalled up here on the highs, and we'll see if it can get up to the top of the range, or what happens here today. You see it's pretty messy here at the moment, just chopping sideways. We've got the Russell, just the weakest, and clearly at a point where it would make total sense for it to roll back over. But I do like the fact that it came up off of this low as it did with this wide range bar. So I really want to see what this does. The financials got killed last week, so to speak. I mean, they were trying to go higher and they failed. So there's a lot of damage done last week. And so this is some positive signs. But remember, hey, this is the end of the month. We start the beginning of October. Usually end of the month, beginning of the month has that bullish seasonality a little bit. But, Mr. Schizophrenic still may have us October in it for us. So Bitcoin, I looked at it yesterday. It was pretty sloppy. I see it's up here a little bit. Yeah, I had the drop, and I don't know. What are you seeing here, Alex? I see a trading range going on. So I'm not sure. I guess if it breaks out, that could be a positive for the market, and if it breaks down, maybe a negative. So, well, here's the daily right here, right? Here's the daily. It's just trading range. Right? Likely being a measured move down. Well, what you're asking me, Tony, is it could certainly be a measured move down. So as we look at the weekly chart, so the weekly chart, has that pullback. We've got one green day. So a measured move does exactly this. And it leads you to believe it's going up. And then the next bar is a red one down. And then that's what produces the measured move. So that may unfold next week. Right now, buyer stepped on the pullback. It's had a heck of a run. And, larger concern is, the monthly chart, which, okay, now we're in October, and rather, we kind of saved a little bit of the month that coming off of the lows, rather than having a big red engulfing bar. It's kind of the body's inside the other body, and it's more neutral than outright bearish, but it's up multiple months in a row, and it's stalling, which may lead to more choppy stuff until the election. So we'll see. All right. We looked at the Russell bonds here. Still, heading a little lower. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Set your alerts down here. If you don't have futures, just use TLT, or TBT goes in the other direction. And oil down a bit here. Just sloppy and selling off here, but within the daily range there. I'm gonna keep an eye on this and bonds and gold. So this could be a tell as far as the markets go, if this continues to weaken and heads lower, or if it survives this. But you can see it nasty drop, and you're kind of just chopping around for the moment. Gold come off of that little sell-off low there, coming up into minor resistance. So still trying to repair the damage of this sell-off that occurred. Silver doing more of the same thing. And transports, which we always look at, just sloppy. Yesterday didn't have such a great day. It wasn't a terrible day, but we always keep an eye on these. So I don't trade this ETF, but I keep an eye on it because the transports sometimes are a leading piece of information. When they're doing well, it's a good sign for the market. And when they're not, obviously the opposite. So you've got this head and shoulders top here, which has not broken down. So, set alerts at above the highs and down here. And, whatever your trading is, we keep an eye on pieces of information. What are the transports doing? Intraday traders. What is the NYSE tick doing? I mentioned, the put call ratio, total put call ratio in MT Live yesterday, just having an alert at 1.3 and 1.5 if the markets are selling off. Those are extremes where you typically get an intraday turn. The volatility index, where are the prior highs? Know where those prior highs are. So as this looked like it was going up, I had my alert up here. Now I'm going to drag my alert down there. And so I want to know, I'm not going to be watching this during the day, but I want to know if that gets up there. So the software will monitor that and it will let me know. So as we go in today, I guess, I think the upside is limited. It does, intraday we could have some move. I mentioned 3,400 on the futures. Looking at, sometimes you get a better or different perspective looking at the ETFs, which we have the topping tail, and now they're up at, let's call it 338-ish. So gapping up near the high of the topping tail. So the question as you look at a chart like this is, okay, the gap up is a positive rather than confirmation of a gap down after a topping tail. Sellers were there before. We know that for a fact. Let's see what they do here in another 15 minutes or so. Qs, 282, and gapping up to the area of, well, maybe a little bit above that topping tail there, and right to the top of the range. So, and we've got a little breakout failure going on here. I shorted something like this in the S&P yesterday. That didn't work out. I got stopped out. It was really bullish early on, and it was able to ignore that. So lost on that, but got the move to the downside, which more than made up for that, and then some. But sometimes patterns don't work, but these breakout type of patterns at resistance tend to be pretty good, reliable setups. Well, yours, Dan. Oh, shoot. Monica. All right. Dan's going to take this.
Her comment.
Take the screen, Dan, or I can't change it.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. All righty. Good morning. So we tightened stops yesterday on the afternoon sell-off. So took profits on a bunch of things. And as Greg said, gap in resistance. So I'm going to be chilling at the open here. All of our opens right now, we have 100% bullish positions, except for Zoom. We have a call spread, but that's way up here. So, it's gapping here a little bit, but nothing to do with our call spread. BAT 2-1, your drop down. All right, so if you have any questions on any opens, just ask me. For shorts, a few that we found yesterday, KSS, Shack is a 1, 2, 3. And where's that other third one? Where are you? That must be on this other list. We'll get to it. YouTube's asking about dunking. Yeah, I have that right here. Dunking. It's gapping up on, more contract news, whatever. I mean, if it sets up day trade, fine. But, you're getting on board a moving train. Now, we actually entered this on this day right there, September 9. Pullback, reversal on support, gap up. That was perfect. And then you could have even done it over this red bar as a continuation pattern. And ever since it's sloppy. So it's not a swing pattern. It's just, to us at least, day trade. All right, AMAG, $13. Gap's too big for me. Then it's a bio. When I was just looking at the ticker in my pre-market gap list, there's a lot of bios gapping around today. STM, $33, bullish gap, but you need a pullback. But that's worth watching in the next week, even if it takes a couple days to set up. UAL, AAL, they said they're going to start furloughing people. And the market, it's, how I'm always saying, these newscasters, they have the market, they got to fill in the blank. So the market's up today on blank, and many times they scratch their head and don't know how to fill it in, even if there's bad news. So the guy today was like, oh, the market's up, so it seems to be overlooking the corona problems and this and this and this. It's, they just got to blab about something. But yeah, the stimulus is an alleged reason again, and so the airlines are part of that, but there's still no patterns. So could they be in a bottoming process? I don't know, but right now I got no interest in them. Boeing is up some more here. Could that be bottoming? Could be. I'd like it to go sideways a little bit more here at resistance to then maybe reverse head and shoulders, although it's not a quality one because look at all the junk to the left. And they had their, I guess, FAA flight yesterday, and the FAA guy said he was pleased of what he saw. So I guess that's why it's up. ON is STM cousin. ON has absolutely no pattern to me. STM. Oh, gotcha. OTM. Oh, got it. But there's no pattern is the problem. Gap into a wall of resistance. SPGI, yeah, that's in my list over here. It looks great. Yeah, that was a carryover from yesterday. Actually, I'm going to put that in a window because that looks great. Let me continue here. So that's Boeing, UAL. No interest. Black, BLK, and BlackRock got an upgrade. There's no volume, but that it was regardless of the upgrade, it's a bullish pattern. You had a downside shakeout, consolidation at resistance with a price void. So these are exactly the patterns that we're looking for. Jason Golf Tango 817. Yeah, 30-minute high. Remember yesterday we had MT Live on climactic buy setups. That is a climactic buy setup. And then Greg was adding the commentary, hey, I like waiting a few more days to make sure. And that's what it did with a gap up. So sure, that's worth watching. So put it there. No, you didn't, Bat. 2-1. Don't be fibbing to me like that. EHTH. It's bottoming pattern. Left shoulder. It's reverse heading shoulders. 80.72. Yeah, I like that too. Yep, those are both good. We'll watch them both. From CAG. No, that too. And that's fake news. Don't be propagating fake news in the green room. What do we got here? This one's earnings. That's 30% on a $15 stock. That's a big gap. I would sure be selling into that. I would actually consider 30-minute low selling a call spread. So I'll put it in a window, see how it sets up. There's dunking we talked about, CPE. BBBY. That's what we just, CPE. Bought, so this looks like another toy. I don't know if it's a bio or whatever, but capped up, pulling in. Nikola, what's in the news yesterday and today? I looked at it yesterday. It's garbage. There's, maybe day trade, but there's just so many other better patterns. Like AMD, we had a put spread on AMD, but now it's kind of a little 1, 2, 3. So this still has room. AMD, look at the NVIDIA. Wow. We had it as a long directional in our weekend letter over the high of this bar, which was last Friday. And then the gap, when the market gapped up 500 points, I said to just hold off on all longs. And you see the bottoming tail. So it did give us an intraday entry. So that's what I'm mad about, not getting us on board. At least we did NVIDIA put spread on both. A workday 224. Yeah, that's a price void. Red bar ignored. Yeah, let's put that on the list. We had a put spread. We still might have half. I'll look later. We either have a half lot or we took our profits yesterday. Augusta is asking, what is fake news? Oh, no, I was just teasing with BAT 2-1. I was teasing that he was saying, he told me about Golf Tango, and I'm like, no, you didn't. It's fake news. Jake W., I told you an email if it can get over yesterday's high. I like it. And you also asked me about, was it RH? It's in an uptrend, daily, weekly, monthly, but it's right at resistance here. They're both fine. This one is stronger because look at the railroad tracks, 20 and 50. So they're both fine if the market holds. Let me continue. Baidu, top of the range, but Baba had a big day yesterday, beautiful gap breakout. So Baidu is his cousin. Daku I like as a directional. I've been watching this for a few days. We still have a put spread that expires tomorrow, but that looks great. That looks great. I'm going to put that in a window. That looks like one of my favorite longs right now. Just time it with the market. And we can also do another put spread for next week. Absolutely. Yeah, look, Tarang just read my mind. Yes, Tarang. So that's your job to find one for us. Maybe 5-10 minute high if the market's holding. But definitely, it looks great. Uber's on my list. Yeah. Continuation pattern. Pepsi had earnings. That's, sloppy pre-market. But maybe 10-minute high, it could give you a day trade. There's CPE, there's W. JD, it's not a gapper per se, but look at the turn. I like the daily and weekly. So McGraw, let's keep an eye on this for a put spread, maybe 30-minute high. this pellet